I normally don't. I've got one. Normally don't eat.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I wasn't sure if you heard me. Hey, welcome to LifeSpring's Fall Breakfast. It's great to have all of you with us. We are excited that you're here this morning, and some of you are pretty new around LifeSpring, so we feel privileged and blessed that you've joined us this morning for this event. And I'm just going to invite you, if you'd like to just stand with us. We're going to do a worship song. And as we do that, because our service is different this morning, our ushers are just going to make sure the offering baskets kind of move between the tables. So if you want to give this morning, there will be baskets coming by, and you'll be able to do that. And other than that, Lord, we welcome your presence, and we want to sing your praise this morning.
I see the sun waking up the morning, reviving dreams. I feel the wind on my back with promise, reminding me there's a garment of praise for heaviness. There's a new song burning inside my chest, living in the goodness that He brings. Get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us, He's brought us back to life. See the sun waking up the morning, reviving dreams. I feel the wind on my back with promise, reminding me there's a garment of praise for heaviness. There's a new song burning inside my chest. I'm living in the goodness that He brings. Get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us, He's brought us back to life. Get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us, He's brought us back to life. Christ before me, Christ behind me, I am firmly held in His mercy, never ending. I'll remind myself. Get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us, He's brought us back to life. Get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us, He's brought us back to life.
Good morning again. Hey, we're going to go ahead and let you sit, and I'm going to, I need to just kind of shift around here a little bit and get rid of this guitar.
Just keep it right here, Frank. Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, there are a couple people here for the first time, but I think I've met you, so I don't know if there's anybody who doesn't know who I am, but I'm Pastor Fran, and it's great to be with you this morning. Hey, if you are new or newer here, first of all, welcome, welcome. Can we put our hands together for the newer folks? And if you have never done it before, I would love it if you would fill out one of our little connection cards. They're in the seat back pockets on most of your chairs, or if they're not on one of your chairs, you look around, you'll find one. We would just love it. Just helps us, start to put your name and face together, make you feel welcome. It gets you onto the communication stuff so that you get the texts and the emails that tell you what's going on around LifeSpring. And if you fill that out, you can just drop it in the box back there by the door. Or when we're done this morning, you can take it out to our Newcomer Connect area by the fireplace, and Simi or someone will be out there to just chat with you and have a little gift for you and that kind of stuff. And we'd love to give you a little gift if it's your first time here or if you're just filling out the card for the first time. So, and we also just want to say that, welcome this morning to those of you who are watching online. And we hope you are watching online. Most of you guys in the room don't know this morning, but we made a big change this morning. We have live streamed our services on Sunday morning on Facebook forever. But the smarter way to do that is to live stream them to YouTube and embed them on your website so people can just go to your website and watch the service if they're not here. So today is our first day of doing that, and we're excited about being able to make that change. So we went live this morning on Facebook so that if people showed up there, we'd say, hey, we're not here. You have to go somewhere else. Anyway, so we hope you have found your way, our online congregation, and that you're out there and you found your way to the website or the YouTube channel, and that you're watching with us this morning. So mostly what we're going to do this morning, just so you know, I'm not really going to preach this morning. We're going to do communion and another song later, but a lot of what's going to happen in between here is we just want to tell you about a lot of things. And we're also going to appreciate some wonderful leaders and servants in a little while. Part of what we use these breakfasts for is it's just, it's a great time to kind of give you updates on things. And so you're going to kind of get updates and information, some things about how to get more involved if you're ready to do that, all kinds of different stuff. So in just a second, I'm going to bring my friend Diane Alich up on the stage with me. Diane is she is the czarina of our Night in Bethlehem outreach that we do every year, which is amazing. But before she and I go up there and she talks about it a little bit, we want to show you the ad we just put together that's going to be going out on social media in front of tens of thousands of people, probably in front of 100,000 people. And we want to show you what people are going to be seeing. And if you've never seen what we do with Night in Bethlehem, it'll also give you a little taste of that. So
This Christmas season, right here in Plainfield, Illinois, give your children the magic of a trip back to Bethlehem, to the sights and sounds of the night Jesus was born. From hands-on activities in the marketplace, to the wise men and the soldiers in armor, to the
Thank you.
she and her husband Larry, who's right down here, have been elders in our church community forever. They've been part of the church for 25 plus years. And maybe just tell people what night, since they didn't really get to see it, what is Night in Bethlehem?
Okay, it's a weekend event. We do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where we transform the entire church into the night Jesus was born. So this entire sanctuary becomes the marketplace. And we have 10 booths that we have set up, and they're different things like blacksmith, pottery, different things that the kids can actually do. So they have activities at every single booth that they go to. and we have people doing lines to further the story. One person does the lines in the booth, and one person does the crafts with the kids. And I'll explain more about different roles that we can do in a couple weeks. And then out here in the foyer, we have Herod's throne room, because that's the first place. Well, they go to the story room, and then they go to Herod's throne room. They register for the census, they pay their taxes, and then they come in here. They experience everything. Then they go through the inn and out the door, and then we have a petting zoo out there, so the kids can feed and pet the animals.
Like going to the stable.
Yes, and then we go in through the children's ministry door, and that's where the manger is, where Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus are. And it's beautiful. It's a wonderful weekend. It's so great, not just for the people that come here, but for us to experience, to watch these kids learn about Jesus. We're planting little seeds in their brains to start. Some of them have not had experience with going to church, and it's planting a seed, and it's just a really cool experience.
I have seen grandparents bring their little kids through our night in Bethlehem. I have often been one of the guys that has played the part of a wise man, because I'm wise. And so we'll be in the live nativity presenting gifts to the Christ child, and I will hear grandparents explaining to their grandchildren what this is, because their grandkids don't know actually who Jesus is. They don't know anything about the story. And so it's an amazing, hundreds of families come through. This year I think will be our best one ever. And it's kind of like a self-guided tour. Like people come in and you can't even imagine what this sanctuary looks like. It's all these marketplace booths, hands-on activities for the kids like Diane said, and then they do the whole thing. And when they get to the live nativity, it's amazing. Last year, you remember this, Larry, we experienced something we'd really never experienced before. People were coming into the live nativity, young and old, and beginning to weep. Like just were so touched because what it does, it's one thing to hear the story, oh, Jesus born in Bethlehem. It's another thing to feel like you really get a sense of it. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing.
It is.
And it's very easy to pull off, and it doesn't require much help from anybody.
And did you hear the serious and the tone of that video? I mean, you have 10 hours to respond. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of help. And it's not all just acting roles. I mean, if we have any actors here, we would love to have you, because we need people that are outgoing.
It is now.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I am loud.
But not everything is actors. We have roles that are just involved with playing with the kids, doing the crafts with the kids, or just directing people where they need to go, or making sure that they go, like that they keep moving, like from the animals, and because a lot of the kids want to really stay there.
So there are lots of
there
different
is.
Ways to be a part of it.
Yes. So don't be intimidated to do it. I know we were told that we weren't explaining it well last year, so people were intimidated to do it. In a couple weeks, I am going to discuss more about what the roles are and what the differences are between the roles.
So today you're kind of prepping them for it, and in a couple weeks you'll come up and talk about the ways they can be involved, and people can start to say, yes, I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this.
Also put it in your calendar, December 6th through the 8th.
Yeah.
So we need a lot of help, and I don't want to overburden the people that do help. We have 4 shifts, and we'd like people just to do however many they want, but we don't want to overburden people.
And it is a lot of work, but I'm telling you, when you see these scores and scores of families coming through here, it will blow your mind. Like, people love it. It's such a great ministry. So.
And maybe the video will work in a little while.
And maybe the video will work. Maybe we'll be able to play it for you. I don't know. So anyway, put your hands together for Diane Alec. And I'm going to bring my friend Megan Bredesen up here. Megan is our children's ministry director and director of youth ministry at LifeSpring, and she is just awesome and phenomenal. I'm hesitant to ask Bob, but is there any way to play?
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm the Children's and Youth Ministry Director here at LifeSpring Church. Hi, I'm Megan. I'm the Children's and Youth Ministry Director here at LifeSpring Church, and I want to invite you to October 26th. We are located right by downtown Plainfield, and our trunk or treat is the same day as Plainfield Spooktacular. We are going to have trunk or treating, free food, games, and lots of fun. So wear your spookiest or cutest vest, and we'll see you there. Don't miss it.
50 or 100,000 people on social media. That's what we shot that for. And so we're expecting a good turnout this year for Trunk or Treat. And Megan is going to tell you what help she needs.
I need trunks. Lots of trunks. Right now, I know it's early. We have 4 trunks. We need more trunks. So you can do it with your small group. You can do it with your family. You can decorate your trunk however you want. It doesn't have to be Halloween. It can be a theme. It can be space. It can be Noah's Ark. It can be unicorns. It can be whatever you want. And you can even find very affordable and easy to use trunk kits on Amazon. So I encourage you to sign up. You can do that on our LifeSpring app.
Yep.
Just click on Trunk or Treat and register your trunk. You will need to bring candy. We will have some extra. We do accept candy donations as well, and we are going to find people to do trunks. So
Yeah, and if you scan right now that QR code, it will take you where you can register to say, yes, I'm going to do a trunk. So if you're sitting out there right now at this moment and you're thinking like, yeah, I could do a trunk, because it's really not that hard, and it's fun. You have such a blast with all the kids coming through. Just take out your phone, scan that thing, and it will take you right where you can say, yes, I'm going to do a trunk, and then Megan will know, and she can communicate with you. So
yes, it's really fun, and your kids can still participate even if you do a trunk. You can just bring another adult, or it's a safe space. We use our parking lot, and there's going to be games and free food made by this guy right here. So if you had his donuts for the donut giveaway, you know it'll be good.
yeah. All right. Put your hands together for Miss Megan.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Lakia is supposed to call me out if I don't remember to say this. This Friday, we have a Fall Fest. It's the first time we are doing this. It is for middle school and high school students. You can also register for that on our LifeSpring app. So 6th grade through 12th grade, we're going to be painting pumpkins, making s'mores, watching a movie, and just hanging out. So please, please register if you would like to come to that.
Sounds fun. Am I too old?
No, you can come. Just register so I have a pumpkin.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Megan. What a wonderful addition Megan has been to everything we do. So you may or may not know that last weekend on Saturday we did our annual apple cider donut giveaway. We made and gave away down at the homecoming parade about 1,000 donuts made right here in our LifeSpring kitchen. We do that every year. And they gave them away. Like, it took like 5 hours to make them. And then they said, yeah, they were mostly gone in like 15 minutes. And the team that went down to give them away came back and said, you need to make twice as many next year. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Anyway, I just want to say to everybody who helped made the donuts, bagged the donuts, gave the donuts away, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the help, because it was really awesome. I also want to let you know that on Sunday, November 10th at 5 p.m., right here in the cafe, we're going to do our next Better Together gathering. So what that is if you're newer to LifeSpring or you've just never been to one of those, it's an opportunity to come and learn more about LifeSpring, ask questions, things you'd like to know about our church community, and just to connect with some other people and to meet some leaders and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have pizza and salad and whatever, and we'll gather in the cafe that evening on Sunday, November 10th. And what else was I going to say about that? And once you register, we actually send you a link to, I think it's maybe 5 short videos that tell you like the history of our church community, how we do things, how our church is led, how leadership works around here, kind of what we think about a lot of different things. And so when you come to the gathering, you've already been able to soak up all this LifeSpring stuff, and then you can say, okay, so here's the question I still have. And anyway, so you can sign up for that on the app, I think, and there's probably a link on the website too. So if you don't have the LifeSpring app, out at the Newcomer Connect Center, there's little sheets out there that'll tell you how to download the LifeSpring app, and that'll kind of connect you to everything. So I want my friend Simi to come up here. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
I have to get all the way up here. Hi, I'm on TV.
This is my
Hi,
friend
everybody.
Simi Cochran. Simi is our connections coordinator. And so what that means is that she helps to connect people, especially people who are new here or just ready to kind of take those next steps. She helps to connect people to opportunities to serve. She can give them information about how to connect with a certain small group or different events or one-time things, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And so I don't know what else you want to say about that. I know you want to talk about these handy-dandy sheets.
I
that you
do. I just, this is important to me because I was slow becoming what I am now. I serve, it's my gift, it's my talent, it's all I can do. I serve God by serving this community. And it makes me feel so good, and it can make you feel good too. So that's what I'm here to facilitate. Let's get together. Let's talk about it. There are 2 sheets on your tables. The first one is a serve. You may have seen this before if you've been around because we did this a year or so ago. This has specific things, specific needs that the church has. So if you know that you would like to serve in a certain area, you can fill that out. The other one is kind of for later. Share with us what your skills, your hobbies, your interests, your experiences with different things. And then, for example, if, a year from now we find, we need a photographer for that, and you filled out photography as you have experience, I might call you up and say, hey, come do photography for us. And you can say
it's just a way of kind of closing the information gap so we know what people love to do, what they have experience with, what talents they have.
Exactly. I try really hard to get to meet everybody, but there's no time on Sunday morning to really sit down and get to know you well. That's another reason why I encourage the small groups. Join our small groups. That's where you will build your relationships. All this information is available on the app and I believe on the website. So if you're techie, unlike me, I like to write it down, but if you want to do it on your phone or your computer, you can find it there, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Yes. What else? See, I'm elderly, so I brought notes. We always need help in LifeSpring Kids.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So keep that on the radar.
If you love kids, we got places for you to connect with kids.
Absolutely. I will be starting next Sunday, always out there at the Newcomer Connect Center after service by the fireplace. That is for anybody to come up to me and ask me questions, talk about things, or if we don't have time, we can make a date for another time. If I'm not there, there will be somebody there. And it's not just for new people. Anybody who's been here for a while and wants to talk.
So when you're ready to connect to something else, you can always just come out there, grab Simi, or grab her wherever you see her, but she'll always be out there after service.
I am.
And you can just grab her and say, hey, I'd kind of like to get involved with this, or maybe what you'll tell Simi is, I think I'd like to get a little more involved and maybe serve in some place, but I'm not sure where. And then she can have a conversation with you about that.
Yeah, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
It's no biggie. You don't have to do anything if you don't want.
Yeah. And
No, I'm kidding. You do have to do something.
And she is one of the coolest people, and you're going to love
Thanks, Fran.
getting
I
to
think
know
that's
her.
it.
So, okay. All right.
Okay.
Put it together for Simi Cochran.
Thank you.
So my friend John Schroeder, who is our treasurer, is going to come up here and give us a little financial update. But as he does that, I want to give you a little update on our storage building project, because those of you who have been around, you know that in the spring, we raised money to do a number of things on our property, but the largest of those is to build a storage building out here where we used to have that shipping container that we stored stuff in. We've gotten rid of the shipping container. We threw away half the stuff in it. The other half we put in a pod, and we're going to build this storage building, and I'm sure I have this, here's my anxiety over it. We thought we were going to be building this thing by midsummer, and so I'm sure there have to be people who are saying like, hey, we gave all this money, and I have tried to give you guys updates, but like, where's the stinking storage building, right? So the company that did the drawings, because you have to have stamped engineered drawings, took a couple months longer to do the drawings than we thought, which was unfortunate. And then once we had the drawings, we began to enter the building process, and we had already asked the village, can we general contract it ourselves? They said, no problem. But when we went to do it, what they didn't tell us is that we had to actually become a village-approved general contractor, and that there was a process for that. So we can all go build houses now if we want, because we are a Plainfield-approved general contractor. LifeSpring Church is. And then we had another little snafu because, you know, the village changed our address, our street address, a couple years ago, and we haven't changed the numbers on the building. So they sent me a message and said, just a reminder, you got to change the numbers on the building. I said, yep, we're working on it. We've been looking at who to order because it's like a concrete plaque embedded in the building. We've been looking. But they didn't say the building permit process will stop until you do that. But that's what they meant. So they give themselves 21 days on the building permit. I'm telling this longer than I need to, aren't I? Anyway, bottom line is, I said, I have a receipt for the plaque. It's not here yet. And they said, okay, we can restart the process. So then this week they asked for a couple more things. We still don't have a building permit. So here's what I want to tell you. We are still hoping to build it this fall for one simple reason, even though we're going to get into cooler weather. And that reason is because everything we use for Night in Bethlehem, which is a massive amount of equipment and just every thing, is stored in a storage container, or in a storage space up in Naperville. And if we don't have that building built, then when we do Night in Bethlehem, we have to move it all back there instead of just taking it out into our new building. So we're still hoping to pull it off. I can't promise we will. It's going to depend on the permitting process. But we have our core guys are ready to kind of jump in. And the last thing I'll say about that is when we're ready, and you'll get texts and emails about this, when we're ready, if you are somebody who likes to carry 2x4s and pound nails and all that kind of stuff, we're going to be inviting you to come out and give us a hand because this is going to be like a barn raising. We're pretty much going to build it ourselves. We have some guys that have built these kind of buildings before. It's basically a big garage. It's 1,200 square feet. So we'll be tapping you, as Simi was saying, for your experience and talents. Anyway, that's the deal on the storage building. We're doing everything we can. It is certainly no fault of anybody at LifeSpring that we haven't gotten it done. So anyway, John Schroeder, our treasurer. Unassuming guy behind the scenes. You didn't have a slide. Did you see the slide I made?
I thought I arrived in life till I didn't get a video. So
Did you see what I put on it, though?
No.
Look.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Nothing like stating the obvious, huh?
Right. Nothing like stating the obvious, right. So John is going to give us, and I know this is important to so many of us, he's going to give us kind of a financial update. And then he and I are going to talk about just a couple different financial pieces. So.
Okay, I'm going to keep this first part really short because I have no idea what Fran's going to ask me, so I don't want to step on his toes in one of his questions. So basically, here at LifeSpring, we operate on a fiscal year. Our year started July 1st, so we're about just 3 months into our fiscal year. Cash is holding fairly strong. We have about $201,000 in cash sitting right now. Approximately half of that is set aside for this is the moment for the building project that Fran just talked about.
Yeah, and some other little things that we're going to do, yeah.
I guess before I continue, I didn't see him here today, but I want to throw out a big thanks to Tim Green, who helps me tremendously on the finance team.
Tim does a lot of the bookkeeping.
He does all the work. I just get to sit here and talk to you. So.
Yeah.
You know, as LifeSpring grows, we kind of had to establish a budget that's maybe a little bit hopeful, a little bit optimistic, and you know that with that comes kind of challenges. So I'm going to give you some numbers. They may not all sound wonderful, but I think we're on a great trajectory, and I think right before I joined the finance team, Fran was up here talking about shutting this building down. So I think we're doing a lot better than that, right?
Yeah.
So again, we have about $200,000 of cash, half of which belongs to the building project. Right now, again, a quick call out to everybody that does the spending here, because we are about $5,200 under budget for our spending for the first 3 months. So thank you. Our giving, if we kind of compare our and I'm looking at the general fund because there's multiple funds that we track certain giving for the church. The general fund is what our operations happen through. So for the first 3 months of this fiscal year, our giving is up about 13% from the same 3-month period last fiscal year.
awesome.
And with that, I guess I'm just going to say, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I don't want to say too much because, again, I'm not quite sure where Fran wants to go with the questioning. So if we don't touch on it there and you have a question, I'm pretty much here every Sunday, or reach out to me via email or text. I'll be more than happy to provide any information you'd like to see.
Thank you. Thank you. My first question you kind of already answered, I think, which my first question is like, how do you think we're doing overall financially? And the truth is, yeah, like it's partially probably because it's summer, that our recently we have spent a little more than our giving, but our giving is up, and part of that is because the church community is growing. So I don't know if you caught what John said, but we're on a good trajectory. That doesn't mean we have millions of dollars and that everything is flush, but we're really headed in the right direction, and I see that.
We really are, and Fran did kind of hint to me on this question, and as I thought about it, he says, kind of, where do you want to see the finances go here? And as I thought about it, I guess being a bean counter, I kind of see the whole world as numbers, right? But I kind of took a step back and I said, yeah, we're going to grow and people are going to continue to give and give more maybe, but I just don't want this place to lose its heart. That's one of those things. We've met so many wonderful people here, and just the heart of everybody here is so wonderful and so Jesus focused that's the most important. I don't want us to lose that at all. Back to the numbers now. You know what? I'm going to keep talking here, so I hope you don't mind.
That's fine.
I don't get to sit up here often. You get this all the time. I don't.
You want to preach in a couple of weeks?
Sure. Tell me when. So one thing Fran and I have been working on a little bit, we want to be even more transparent with the numbers. I know we give you updates twice a year up here. We're trying to figure out a really good way to just keep you updated throughout the year of kind of what the numbers look like, how we're doing comparing to our budget, how our giving's looking. So we're working on that. We should have that out in some form or fashion very soon. I kind of thought it'd be a kind of a cool idea to have Amy, my wife, come up here and sing it every 2 weeks. Haven't got her to buy into it yet, but if you'd like to see that, how about a big round of applause for Amy, right?
What we're playing with a little bit is the format of how to lay those numbers in front of you so they make sense. Because you probably know this, it's just like your home, right? Like you have certain bills, the big bills, that maybe you only pay once a year. Maybe you do that with your car insurance or something, right? So your monthly spending doesn't really reflect that. So we've got to figure out kind of how to do it in a format that it makes sense, and that when you see those numbers, you can say, this tells me something about how we're really doing, not just something about the ups and downs.
Something simple, but kind of paints the whole picture as well.
I also just wanted to touch on our mortgage, because I know especially new people, they come here and I'll never forget this comment. I don't know who it came from, but somebody at church related it to me, that somebody new came into our church and they saw, wow, you guys have, all this acreage right by downtown Plainfield and this beautiful building. This church must have a lot of really wealthy people. That was like the comment. You guys must just be rolling in dough, So I was thinking about that, and I think if I looked right, and you can check me, but I have the current amortization on my laptop. I think our balance on the mortgage sits, as of this month, at about $747,000.
$841,000.
Are you sure? Really? Almost, because I have the amortization they gave me when we signed the last agreement. So anyway, here's what I want to tell you about that, though. Between what we paid for this land and then what we financed to build the building, I haven't done this for a long time. I added up the total expenditure to be on this property, and it's about $1,800,000. So if you look and you say, so let's split our number at 800. So if you split our number at 800 and you say, so basically this church has paid off $1 million of the cost of having this property. And by the current amortization, this property will be paid for in about 7.5 years without paying any extra. And to me, that's amazing because, yeah. Because at that point, this church will be sitting on a piece of property perhaps worth a couple $1 million and not owe any money, which at that point, my joke is, because we do have a pretty big mortgage payment, and my joke is that when we get to that point, the conversation that our church leadership team will have to have, that it has never had to have before, is what should we do with all this money?
Put the finance guy on payroll?
That will be, imagine the good you can do with all of that. So, right? So I have no regrets that we got into this thing, we built this building, we bought this property. I think that it's going to be a phenomenal thing. Yeah, I don't, for those of you who don't know the recent history of LifeSpring financially, I just want to tell you this quick story. So when we came out of the pandemic, just like all churches, we were smaller because people drifted away from church and because we weren't having services and people weren't giving the same way, we were fairly broke. And so I don't know how long ago it was, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, we sat down with our leadership team as we were coming out of the pandemic and we said, you guys need to know that based on where giving is at and expenses are at, that we think we can last about a year financially. And people on the team said, and then what would we do? I said, we would give this building back to the bank and we would say, it's been a great run being LifeSpring Church. And people were like, well, that can't happen. Our leadership team was like, and part of what you have to understand is that through the pandemic, we were evolving in terms of the kind of church we were. And so people were like, no, not a church like this that has come to think the way this church thinks about the Christian faith. No way, we're not going away. So I said, okay, we're with you, but this is where we just need you to know that's where we are. And then what happened was people started walking through the door, precisely because of who God had been shaping us into being, which to me was like just such a cool, weird God thing. And so, but the flip side is, as we grow, some of our expenses go up, right? And so then it's a little like playing catch up. We're like, well, if our giving was here, everything would be flush, but then the reality is you grow, you have some expenses that go up. And so anyway, but we are headed in the right place. And I just want to say, while I have you up here, that I am deeply appreciative of what you do and of what Tim does. There have been times in our history where we went through treasurer transitions and things were a little hodgepodge with the money that I felt like a lot of questions came back my way, like what are we going to do about this? And I don't think about those things anymore. And the reason I don't think about those things is you. And I'm grateful for that. The last thing I guess I really want to say is that LifeSpring, from a practical standpoint, is here because so many of you give so faithfully. And I don't want this morning to go by without me saying to you how appreciative I am of your constancy in giving, of your generosity in giving, because this church, as I'll talk about in a couple minutes, is becoming something none of us have ever imagined. And that is the grace of God, but it is also in part because of your faithfulness. And I'm so appreciative of that. And then I want to say to those of you who are newer around here, I know that when you come to a new church, I get it. You don't want to give where you don't trust. And I'm the same way. If I were going to a new church, I'd be like, I'm not going to start giving it. Certainly not. I might throw $5 in the plate, but I am not giving generously or sacrificially. Linda and I have always been tithers. I'm not tithing to a church that I don't trust. I mean, that's just me. And so I get it, that when you're new, you kind of say I need to know this place. I need to figure out what I sense here. And I understand that. All I can really tell you is we're very transparent around here, as transparent as we can be. We're very transparent about what goes on here. As my friend Dave Jankowski would say, you don't have to be scared of looking in the kitchen to see how the sausage is made at LifeSpring. What you see is what you get. Our hearts are what they are, and when we stand up here and we do things on Sunday morning, we are who we appear to be. I mean, you guys know that from my preaching. I preach my own flaws and my own reality because we're all people on a journey. When you invest in LifeSpring with your heart and with your resources, maybe I wouldn't have said this 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but today when you do that, you are helping to perpetuate and create a kind of church community that none of us have ever seen exist around here in this area. And I don't mean that, don't hear arrogance in that. It's different. Coming back to this place of being centered in the teaching and the heart and the way of Jesus changes everything. And so if you're newer and you're like, am I going to become one of those giving people? I just want to invite you in. If you're not ready, that's okay. We don't pressure anybody about giving here. But we make sure that we talk about it and say, hey, maybe it's time for you to step in. Because if other people hadn't stepped in the past, you wouldn't be here this morning. And so you're going to step in now maybe, and that means that in a year, somebody new is going to walk in here looking for the life of God or looking for a better kind of Christian faith, a better kind of spiritual journey, and they're going to be able to find that because you stepped in, and that's kind of how the deal flows, you know? So anyway, if you want to, now most people around here, we do pass the baskets because especially newer people are like, well, you know, maybe I'll give a little, but most people around here now give online. Which is true in a lot of churches. There are some green cards back on the table, back there at the back, that are all about how to give online, how to look at your giving online. Yeah, Diane's holding one up. All that kind of stuff. So grab one of those, and that'll kind of guide you through what you need to do, and you can always reach out to me, and I can hook you up with John, and you can find me through the website or whatever. So anyway, let's hear it for John Schroeder. Thanks, John. Hey, I'm going to bring my friends Casey and Gail Crino up here for just a minute, and we're going to talk small group stuff. What was that laughter? They knew they were coming up here. Oh, I know. You never want me to drag you up front. Come on up and just sit for a minute. So like a lot of churches, we have small groups at LifeSpring, and earlier this year, we started a bunch of new small groups because we realized we were really behind. And honestly, I know we're behind again. I'll talk about that in a minute. So some of the small groups we started are full. Some are not. Like I know the group that Simi and Sue Hoffman, Simi who was up here, they're involved with, which is for women who are not married or who come to church without their spouse. They call it Solo Sisters, which I think is the coolest name. And they've got room for a few more women to come and hang out with them. And one of the groups that has space for a few people is the group that you guys lead. By the way, these are my friends Casey and Gail Crino. I love to tell people his name's not Casey, it's Michael, but he goes by Casey. So, I don't know, he's trying to be like, sorry, I don't know. Yeah, and he calls me Francis, so that's fair. But these guys have become fast friends of ours, and gosh, yeah. So I just want you to, because they have a little space in their small group for a few people. So I just want you guys to maybe talk about, I don't know, what you do at your group and why it's okay and safe for people to come and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so good morning. So our group is a life and faith community, and we started meeting about this in the summer. And what we do, we're journeying together, basically, you know, coming together, co-creating together a safe and brave space so that we can talk about life together. We can talk about our journey in Christ together. We can tell stories about what God's doing in our lives, and we can talk about our joys. We can talk about our doubts. We can encourage each other. We can pray for each other, and then we look at God's word, and you know, and say how do we navigate this life, and how do we do it together? The thing that we found over the years, just being involved in small groups, house churches, on the mission field, is that it's at the small group where we really grow together, and it's where we really see solid, what we call discipleship, real discipleship, not just learning doctrine and learning things, but living and just really walking in a very positive, exciting way with Jesus.
As soon as you clarify discipleship, I just want you and I to like preach a whole sermon about it right now. Because I spent so many years in the church where discipleship was just about learning the Bible. It was just about doctrine. It was just about being a good Christian. And now we've come to understand that it means being remade into the good and whole people, which involves a lot of healing for us, that God made us to be. And, you know, as Paul would say, it's being shaped into the image of Christ. And it's so good. Yeah, and we've hung out with these guys a lot. If you're interested in a small group, you will love hanging out with them, I can just tell you. Because a big part of a small group is the leader, right? Like the tone they set, the atmosphere they create, the hospitality they offer, and you will love hanging out with Casey and Gail. And so if you're ready for something like that, you're looking for some community, I love that safe and brave space. You're going to find hospitality, a warm welcome, and people who, what I love about, this is maybe the wrong way to say it, entrusting people to you guys is, you're on a good journey with Jesus, a journey I trust because it's so much like the journey we've been on. And so anyway, if you would like to connect up with them, 2 ways you can do it. You can do it through the LifeSpring app. There's a groups thing at the bottom if you go on the LifeSpring app, and you can go there, and if you click join, they'll get a message that says, hey, so-and-so is interested in joining your group. Or you can just grab them when we're done here this morning and say, hey, we're kind of interested in your group, or I'm kind of interested in your group. Fair enough? All right, put your hands together for these guys. Thank you. Okay, now we come to my favorite part maybe, which is my friend Leslie Zarita is going to come up here, and Debbie Jankowski, and they... Okay, you're going to do it on the ground. And they're going to do some leader appreciation stuff here for the next few minutes.
I got a boot on, sorry. No, I'm good. Okay, our first leaders that we want to recognize today are Lisa Salazar and Amy Schroeder, who are in the back. So if you could please come up here. You have to come up here. Lisa and Amy are on our event planning team, and they are 2 amazing women who have put together this breakfast, our spring breakfast, our baptism picnics, the 70s party, and, well, I know. The 70s party, and there'll be other events that are coming up. So takes a lot of time, their own time, a lot of creativity, a lot of hard work before and after and during. So we just want to say thank you so much, and we appreciate everything you do. If anyone else wants to join their team, now's a good time to speak up. And they're here. Now you know who they are. So let's give Amy and Lisa a big round of applause.
This is also my favorite time of this event because we do get the opportunity to kind of call out a couple people who are behind the scenes making things happen that maybe you guys don't know about. Though I am going to say, from now on, if you're resistant to come up, we might make you also make a speech when you come up. Just saying. The next 2 people that we'd like to recognize, I'm given limited time, but I could honestly talk about these 2 for like a half an hour, easy. The first one is Megan. Megan, come on up here. If you have kids in our kids program, you know that Megan absolutely brings joy, passion, compassion, excitement, and fun to Kids Spring. In addition to that, she has also taken on an increased role working with our youth, which is, a population that's sometimes a hard group to work with. So the things that Megan does, you guys don't see because we're in here, but your kids go in there every week and they have a blast with her. And she is pouring the love of Jesus into each and every one of them and leading that team phenomenally well. So let's give it up for Megan right now. You're awesome. Thank you so much. The other person is going to probably get mad at me too. Kate, come on up here.
Yeah, when we were talking about this, I said Kate's going to hate this.
So for those of you who don't know, this is Kate Hall. She is our administrative assistant. And to say that this woman, first of all, keeps this church running is a huge understatement. This woman knocks her job out of the park every single day. She has, you really do, you truly do. She has organized so many things and keeps things running smoothly. The quick news that you see is all her. The what's happening that is posted is all her.
Almost all the communication that you see is Kate. Yeah.
Right. And she is taking more and more things off of Pastor Fran's plate to let him do the things that God is calling him to do and not get bogged down in the details. So she has been a huge gift, and really, let's whoop it up for her right now.
Thank you to all of you. Thanks, Leslie and Debbie, for doing that. So we're almost done this morning. Two more things. I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes, and then my brother Larry Alch is going to come up and lead us in communion, and then that'll be it. But so obviously, I'm not really going to preach this morning, but I have a couple things I want to share with you. Just a few words. We've been busy this morning, and there's a lot to do. What I usually try to do at these breakfasts is to try to talk a little bit about where I see LifeSpring Church going. So I want to do that, but in a sense, I want to say separate things to those of you who have been here at least for the last couple of years, and those of you who are even newer than that. To those of you who have been here the last couple of years, or maybe much longer, look at my friend Gary Snyder, who's been around for 25 plus years probably, and there's a bunch of you like that. You all who have been here, you've been here through some of the real transformation in our thinking and faith here at LifeSpring, and you've watched that, and we've journeyed through some of that territory without knowing exactly where we were going to end up or where the Lord was going to take us. But now I think all of you who have been here for at least a couple of years, you've seen where it leads and what it means. It means no more legalism. It means a church where you can be yourself. You know, Kate and I were just talking about churches where you pretend, which is most churches, and church where you can actually be yourself. It means a church where everyone is included and welcomed in. I'm pausing for emphasis. Where everyone is included and welcomed in. And it means that everything in your faith and life is able to be defined by the light that shines from the God who is 100% good and wants to lead you into more freedom and wholeness and joy, and who doesn't have any dark edges. To those of you who are newer to LifeSpring, first thing I want to say is we're really excited that you're here. We know that you trust us with something when you say, hey, I'm going to step in and see if this could be the church community for me. And second, I know that to varying degrees you may still be asking, well, who are these people and who is this church? And the simple answer to that, which I love here, is that we're just people. So if you're wondering, who are we going to church with? What ideas they have? How do they treat other people? We're just people. We share a common humanity, but we've all had different journeys and different struggles. We're at different places on the understanding part of our faith journey. But one of the big things that makes it work is that simply this is a no judgment zone at LifeSpring Church. So wherever you've been with your faith, wherever you've been in life, whatever things you struggle with, how you see the world, the mistakes you feel you've made, that's all right. That's everybody. And so we're here together doing this journey together. Now, if you said to me, Pastor Fran, I'm newer here, what do I really need to know about LifeSpring Church? Here's what I would tell you. I mean, there's lots of things to know, as evidenced by all the information we've been putting out there this morning. But here's what I would tell you. I would tell you that we have been on a journey to know the heart of God better than we have known the heart of God in the past. And I would tell you that we have increasingly come to the conclusion that much of modern Christianity has embraced some ideas about God that in some ways don't look and sound like the Jesus who walks across the pages of the New Testament Gospels as he accepts people, loves people, heals people, and helps people find the good way. So we've been asking this question about our own faith. It's an interesting question for anybody to ask about their Christian faith. If you threw out everything about your faith, right there, that's pretty like, what are we throwing out? If you threw out everything about your faith that doesn't really look and smell like Jesus, what would be left? That's the question we've been asking. And the answer is that what you're left with is a thoroughly good and beautiful God who is actually not very interested in punishing. Jesus is the revelation of God. How does the writer of Hebrews 1 say it? Represents the nature of God and is the exact representation of his being. He's the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being. Did you see Jesus going around punishing people? The good and beautiful God's actually not that interested in punishing people, but he's wildly interested in restoring us as human beings. So to that point, I just want to share two little verses of scripture with you this morning. See, I said I wasn't going to preach and I lied. But we're all works in progress, and we accept that at LifeSpring. The first one is 1 John 1. John says in this little letter of his that when they walked with Jesus for those years, he and the other early Christians, the other early disciples, that when they walked with Jesus, whom John calls the Word of Life. This is what he says about Jesus. He calls him the Word of Life. He says, the Word of Life appeared, and our eyes beheld him, and our hands touched him. He's saying we walked around with the Word of Life, God in a body, in essence. And he says, and what we saw in him is this, that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. John was saying it shocked the hell out of us. Because we had stories. We had stories from our own past where God had what seemed like some dark edges. And then we encountered Jesus, and he turned out to be all light, all goodness, and no darkness at all. The second passage is Paul in his Colossians letter. He says that what is happening to those of us who are in Christ is that we are, quote, putting on the new human being who is being remade in the image of the Creator. And in the rest of that passage, he goes on to say that this new humanity transcends race, ethnicity, class, and even religion. Well, man, what is God doing if he's making new human beings? What does that look like? So here's what it means at LifeSpring. It means that we get to throw off all the dumb things that we've believed and used to divide people, and we get to throw off all the religion that controls people, and we get to chase goodness and beauty together, being transformed by it and also letting it flow through us so that it can be something good in the lives of other people. And I don't know exactly what that looks like as we go down the road together. I've never been one of those pastors where people say, let's make a 10-year plan for LifeSpring Church. I don't know what God's going to whisper to us in 6 months. How are we going to make a 10-year plan? I mean, you can speculate. So I don't know exactly what that looks like as we go down the road together. What I do know is that it means more people finding acceptance and freedom and wholeness and joy. And it means more love going outside these walls, which I think is something the Lord is taking us back to in this very moment of our existence as a church. More love going outside our walls again in the form of compassion and justice, peacemaking, and reconciliation. So what I would say if you're new is, if you're looking for the good Jesus way, we've been looking for the good Jesus way too. So why don't you come along? And what in the world are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Larry, come lead us in communion.
Do you like my multitasking there? First of all, I don't even know if we did this, but would you just put your hands together for everyone that made this morning happen? Awesome. Hey, it's a crowded day in here today, and it's a little different than usual. So we're not going to have communion up front here. We're going to have communion elements are at your table, and we'll talk about that in a second. If you're new here, or you just don't know, and your heart is open, I want to welcome you to communion with us today. Or if you're online, I want to welcome you to share communion. Something about a banquet like this is just right. You know what I mean? It's just right, and it's. We celebrate birthdays, Thanksgiving, holidays in general with banquets, with feasts, and it's something that's in us. It's innate part of who we are, and I believe we're designed that way. And Scripture is just full of examples of feasts and banquets. And We come to the table, we bring everything we are, the good, bad, and the ugly, and we sit down at that table. We're nourished, and we commune with each other, and that speaks to deeper yearnings that we all have for community with each other and with God, and I think it's just a beautiful thing. Communion itself is, it's not a potluck where I have to bring something for admission, sit down and eat. We bring ourselves, we sit down, and we are served by the one who designed us. He provides the feast, he provides the meal, he provides the restoration and the hope and the way forward. I want to invite you to take the bread and the cups that are in front of you. They're on your table there. Just pass them among yourselves. Just where you are, just pass them out to each other. And when it comes around, feel free to have the communion at your table. While you're doing that, I'm going to say this. At the Last Supper, Christ took bread and he broke it and he said, "This is my body. It's broken for you, for the sins of everyone, for all of humanity. Take and eat." And likewise, when the supper had ended, he took the cup. He said, "This is the cup of my blood, his blood, the saving blood, to wash away the sins of the world. Drink." So I say, come to the table and eat. Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this time. We thank you for this communion meal. We simply thank you. Amen.
I remember years ago we were taking communion, and back when we were in the school, we sometimes used to use Hawaiian bread, if you know what that is, for communion. And I feel about communion every time the way one little boy in our church expressed himself that day. Everybody was taking communion, and he took that piece of Hawaiian bread, and everybody was quiet, right? It was a solemn moment, and he put it in his mouth, and he said, "Man, that's good." That's how I feel at communion every time. Why don't you stand with us?
The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the and your heart is kind. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore, forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your holy name. Yes, I will worship your holy name. Lord, I worship your holy name.
I want to say something before you talk.
Say whatever you want, babe.
So Simi asked me to say that if any of you guys have filled these out, please put them in the box by the door so they don't get... We were hoping for some filled ones, but okay, thanks.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was just going to say, if you don't have to rush out, we'd love some help tearing down, because we've got tables and chairs to put back where they go, and we've got to shove a bunch of these tables back in the pod outside. So some of you guys, they're strong, and you ladies too. We got some work to do. So anyway, so if you can, stick around. So my brothers and sisters, may the love of God and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen. Have a great day. Thanks for being here.
Bless the Lord.